Winter in the north was a true test of survival. The Viking longhouse was more than a home. It was a fortress against the cold, a storehouse for food, and a barn for livestock. Every beam and wall was designed for one purpose: to keep warmth in and the deadly cold out. Vikings built with what the land provided, using their deep knowledge of wood and earth to create shelters in harmony with their environment. The longhouse was the heart of the homestead, pulsing with life, while the world outside lay frozen. Building one required bushcraft on a grand scale, felling trees, shaping beams, and mastering natural materials. Each step was a lesson in self-reliance and survival. The longhouse stands as a symbol of how ancient people used their knowledge of nature to endure the long, dark winter. It's a testament to human ingenuity in the face of nature's harshest challenges. Building began with careful observation, not tools. Vikings chose sites with good drainage, often on slight rises to keep floors dry and timbers from rotting. Proximity to fresh water and forests was essential. Water for life, wood for building and fuel. Defense mattered too, a clear view of the land, backs to hills or forests, and clustering with neighbors for protection. The landscape itself became part of the home's defense. Orientation was crucial. Longhouses faced the low winter sun and shielded against prevailing winds. This alignment made a real difference in warmth and comfort. By reading the land, wind, and sun, Vikings built homes that worked with nature, not against it. The right site was the first step in surviving the winter. Every decision was about turning the land into an ally. With the ground chosen, the real work began. The timber frame. Vikings were master woodworkers, selecting strong oaks for the main posts. These whole tree trunks, shaped by hand, formed the skeleton of the longhouse. The frame used A-shaped trusses and sophisticated joinery, mortise and tenon joints secured with wooden pegs. This created a structure that was both strong and flexible, able to withstand storms and heavy snow. Long horizontal beams, or purlins, connected the frames and supported the rafters. The open interior allowed for communal living, with the frame carrying the entire roof load. Building the frame was slow, demanding strength and skill. But this timber skeleton was the secret to the longhouse's size and longevity. It sheltered generations from the harshest winters. The design was elegant, powerful, and built to last. With the frame in place, Vikings turned to the walls. Solid timber was too costly, so they used wattle and daub, a woven lattice of branches plastered with clay, sand, and straw. Young hazel or willow branches were woven between upright posts, creating sturdy panels. The daub mixture was pressed into the wattle, forming thick, airtight walls. Once dry, these walls were excellent insulators and easy to repair. The technique was efficient, using local materials and minimal wood. The walls kept out wind and cold, making the longhouse a true refuge. This method, perfected over generations, balanced strength, warmth, and resourcefulness. The result, a shelter that could endure years of harsh weather. The walls were as much about survival as the roof above. The roof was the longhouse's crowning achievement. First, birch bark was laid over the rafters, waterproof, flexible, and rot-resistant. On top, thick layers of turf were stacked, grass side down for insulation, then grass side up for a living, growing surface. The turf roof was heavy, binding the structure together and providing phenomenal insulation. In winter, snow added another layer, sealing in warmth. In summer, the grass grew, cooling the house. The curved roof shed rain and snow, while its weight stabilized the frame. This living roof was a dynamic, self-sustaining system. Using earth itself, Vikings created a protective cocoon against the elements. It was a brilliantly simple solution. nature's own shield. Inside, the longhouse was a world apart. One end sheltered animals, their body heat helping warm the space. Keeping livestock alive meant milk, wool, and new life in spring. The central hearth was the true heart, a long fire pit for warmth, light, and cooking. Smoke drifted out through vents in the roof, curing meats and keeping the air warm. Raised platforms along the walls served for sleeping, eating, and working, keeping people off the cold floor. Life revolved around the fire, weaving, repairing, storytelling through the long nights. The layout was a masterclass in thermal efficiency and communal living. Every detail was about survival and togetherness. The longhouse was a self-contained world, built to see family and animals through the winter. It was survival, comfort, and community under one roof. Vikings built with simple tools, axes, adzes, knives, and augers, using skill, not machines. They relied on local materials: oak, pine, clay, turf, and birch bark. Nothing was wasted. Every resource was valued. The longhouse teaches us to build for our climate, using what's at hand. Its design was passive, capturing and retaining heat through clever use of natural materials. Modern builders can learn from this, work with nature, not against it. The longhouse is a symbol of resilience and ingenuity. It shows how people can thrive in harsh environments through intelligence and community. In our world, its lessons on sustainability and self-reliance are more relevant than ever. The Viking longhouse still has much to teach us,